Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to be discussing Adolf Hitler's Führerbunker, which was used in the early months of 1945 as refuge for top Nazi officials underneath the new Reich Chancellery in Berlin. Hitler stayed in the bunker until his death on April 30th. The actual Führerbunker was not the first bunker built on the site, as in 1936, as part of renovations of the original Reich Chancellery, a smaller air raid structure was constructed beneath the garden of the old Reich Chancellery. The bunker was known as the Fuhrerbunker and was a lot less complex than the Führerbunker, as it was not meant to house Hitler for a long period. It was just meant to withstand normal air raids. In 1943, as the war was progressing and Germany was on the defensive, Hitler ordered a new, much more extensive bunker to be built in conjunction with the forward bunker beneath the garden of the newly built New Reich Chancellery. The Führerbunker was finished in 1944, headed by top architect Albert Speer. The bunker was 27 feet beneath the garden, headed over top with 10 feet tall concrete to protect it. The walls were around 4 meters thick with steel and reinforced ceilings to stand the aerial raids. The bunker had 18 rooms, including its own power, ventilation, water, and communication systems. Hitler officially moved into the bunker on January 16th of 1945 and would primarily occupy it until April 30th. The most famous room inside the bunker was Hitler's private study, which is where Hitler committed suicide. It had a large wooden desk with 2 chairs surrounding and a portrait of Frederick the Great. Adjacent to Hitler's study was his private bedroom, including just a single bed with a nightstand and limited furnishings. Eva Braun also had her own bedroom, which was customized more to her liking. It was also very small. The conference room is where Hitler received military briefings. The room was donned with maps, including a very simple table chair setup. The dining room was more so narrow and had a long table where officials would eat. There was also a communication room staffed by the SS who communicated with the outside world. Many of the telephone lines were cut by mid-April of 1945, rendering the room almost completely useless. There was also a generator room with a diesel power generator, allowing the bunker to have electricity independent of Berlin. Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, lived with his wife and 6 children in 2 adjacent rooms. The children had bunk beds as the rooms were very cramped. Goebbels and his wife would kill their children before committing suicide after Hitler's death. Martin Bormann was Hitler's private secretary. He too had a room within the bunker and a single bed. There was an emergency corridor that led up to the old Reich Chancellery garden. This was said to have been the corridor that was used to carry up Hitler and Eva Braun's bodies on April 30th. There were obviously no windows within the bunker and very little realistic artificial light, not surprising as it was the 1940s. Now I'm going to be going over the events in relation to the Führerbunker on and after April 30th of 1945. At around 3:30 Berlin time on April 30th, Hitler was said to have committed suicide with Eva Braun in Hitler's private study. Their bodies were then carried up through the corridor and burned within the garden of the Reich Chancellery. 2 days later, on May 2nd, Soviet troops made first contact with the Führerbunker, finding the bunker in total chaos with bloodstains and a strong chemical odor. For the next several months, the Soviet counterintelligence agency took over the site. In 1947, the Soviets attempted to destroy the bunker. They were able to semi-accomplish this, destroying the top part above ground, although the main bunker beneath was too strong. They ended up just sealing off the access points with rubble. In 1959, the East German government attempted a more thorough demolition of the Führerbunker. Some of the smaller rooms did collapse with the use of explosives, although the main core bunker itself remained standing due to how reinforced it was. Because they could not knock it down, the area was once again covered and deemed no man's land as the bunker sat completely vacant beneath Berlin. The bunker was rediscovered in 1988 due to construction work of new apartment blocks in East Berlin. Workers had accidentally exposed an access point, which allowed somebody to sneak into the bunker and capture intriguing photographs as it had not been touched in over 30 years. An interesting thing you'll notice with the photographs in 1988 is the fact that the bunker is flooded, as Berlin has a high water table, something that Hitler and his architects struggled with when they were designing their own megastructures. The individual that captured the photographs risked jail time, as the area was deemed inaccessible to the public. In 2006, ahead of the World Cup, a historic plaque was put up along with a diagram marking the bunker beneath. Believe it or not, the bunker still technically exists to this day, although it is completely sealed off in East Berlin. The official location is beneath a parking lot. Currently, the city of Berlin, which controls the bunker, do not have any plans on digging it up. During the construction of the bunker, the floor had to be slightly sloped due to uneven soil. This made drainage more difficult and created standing water even before the bunker was abandoned in 1945. By late April of 1945, the smell protruding from the bunker was said to be a mixture of rotting food, diesel fumes from the generator, and mold. It's reported that after Germany fell in May of 1945, visitors that would visit the bunker vomited due to the rancid smell. Hitler's final will was typed on April 29th of 1945. Interestingly enough, it wasn't typed in the Führerbunker, but the Führerbunker. Towards the end of the war, the Nazis had sealed shut a steel blast door to wall off Hitler's private headquarters in an attempt to make sure there was no interfering with his suicide. Much of the furnishings of the Führerbunker were brought directly from the old Reich Chancellery. Hitler's last known meeting in the new Reich Chancellery above ground was around January 15th, likely taking place in the cabinet room and discussing the worsening Eastern Front situation against the Soviet Union. Hitler's last known time fully out of the Führerbunker was April 20th, 10 days before his death, on his birthday, greeting members of the Hitler Youth. In early April of 1945, Karl Dönitz suggested Hitler move his command center to Flensburg, as Hitler was repeatedly warned by Nazi officials Berlin could be encircled. Hitler reportedly wanted to stay in the Führerbunker as a sign of strength. Photos of Hitler within the bunker are extremely scarce. There was said to be an unconfirmed photograph of Hitler potentially on April 28th, which would have been 2 days before his suicide. It is likely a picture of Hitler surveying the rubble just outside of the Führerbunker within the Reich Chancellery garden. The actual site of the Führerbunker remained unknown for many decades as East Germany refused to acknowledge it during the Cold War. Hitler described the air in the bunker as unbreathable, and his personal doctor said that he exclaimed, "It's like breathing in a coffin." During his time in the bunker, Hitler was quoted as saying, "A man must stay loyal to the place where he has led the people," as justification for staying in Berlin.